Welcome to the Storybook Africa podcast, a sanctuary of inspiration and transformation for the vibrant youth of Africa. Through the power of stories, we weave together the threads of resilience, hope, and cultural heritage, empowering young Africans to embrace their unique journeys with courage and confidence. From the sweeping savannas to the bright cities to the remote villages, each episode invites you to explore the diverse contexts that shape the extraordinary experiences and visions of Africa's youth. So, sit back, relax, and let us transport you through the heart of Africa, where lions roar, drums beat, and beautiful life happens, birthing tales of wisdom that foster healing, growth, and development.
Good morning, Storybook family. I have missed you all. I hope you had a very lovely and productive week. Mine was awesome. I'm still in Nairobi I haven't returned to work after my Easter break. So I'm still here with family. It's been a really rainy and, hectic week, weather-wise. But I thank God because rain is good. It means an increase in at least agricultural produce. So I guess less hunger, yay. So I hope wherever you are, you're having a good time, with family, friends, colleagues, you're loving on yourself and just enjoying life in general. If it's your first time joining us, I'm Whitney Mwangi. I'm the founder of the Storybook, and every Saturday I come on here to address some of the questions that I receive from young people through our email address or social media pages, talking about different issues of life. But today we're going to have, a sort of different conversation. This year at the Storybook, we are focusing on hashtag what really matters. And this is basically a conversation around aspects that matter to young people. I know the context is different, but we're looking at foundational principles that form the basis of a healthy life and what actually matters when it comes to pursuing those things. So in Q1, we focused on love and connection. And then now that it's Q2, can you believe it, guys? Time is moving so fast. We'll be talking about business and finances. And then we did have a couple of other things to focus on, which we discussed during our first episode. And that was basically, let's see. We said Q1 would be on love and connections. I'm trying to pull up where I had them written down so I don't forget. Sometimes it's, you just have to have them with you. And then Q2 business and finances, then Q3 career, and Q4 spirituality. Let me know in the chat, depending on where you're listening to us from, what is your favorite topic and which one would you like us to really hone into and go deeper into? Um, each topic will be focused by the quarter. So between now, during Q2, we'll be talking about business and finances. And during the first episode, I did share quite a number of, things that I believe when it comes to the different topics that you could focus on. And because today we'll be talking about business and finances, I just mentioned lightly that foundations of a strong business and financial portfolio would be setting clear goals and objectives. And we did talk quite a bit about what it looks like setting long-term financial goals or short-term or medium-term, and then how you set up targets for revenue and profitability, savings, investments, and etc. And then budgeting and financial planning. What does it actually look like to create a budget? I remember in the beginning when I was learning about this, budgeting matter, I would get lots of advice about the 50, 30, 20 division or portioning of your budget, where you set 50% of your income to the day-to-day life expenses, rent, and all that. And then 30, I believe, was your needs, and then 20, I believe, was your savings. And obviously that looked different from for me, because as a single lady, I don't have kids, and I didn't have quite a lot of responsibility. I still don't, at least not financially. So I ended up not needing to focus on 50% going to all that. So that looked different for different people. And then diversification of your business and investment portfolio. How does it look like to spread risk and maximizing returns? I hear that this should necessarily not just be looked at from the perspective of how much you make, but also at the stage you're at in life and your age, because someone who's maybe, let's say, 50 plus may not be able to take risks that a 20-year-old would take. Then when it comes to risk management, how do you develop strategies to mitigate risks such as insurance, emergency funds, contingency plans, looking at market fluctuations, I do invest in stock markets. So how does it look like when a certain sector goes down or it goes up? For example, during COVID, investment in the health sector was quite a proper investment, because lots of organizations were actually, you know, putting a lot of money into health, especially in China and places like that. So how does that look like? How do you assess portfolios and what's necessary for you, and how do you manage risk? Would you be ready to hop on and jump off at any one time? And then debt management, developing a plan to pay down debt, and all that. Continuous learning and adaptation. Do you have people who you constantly go to when it comes to learning about debt and accumulation of money? Who are they? Would like to interview them here at the Storybook, would like to hear from them. Then long-term perspective. Adopt a long-term perspective when it comes to, different things: risk management, chasing trends, building sustainable growth, pursuing your own portfolio. Then we also talked about professional advice. Again, who do you go to? Do you have financial advisors, accountants, business consultants? Who are the people you get valuable insights, expertise, and guidance for your specific needs? Sometimes I like to read even online what's going on, Vanguard or some business outlets. That if you invest in stocks, at the moment I use Interactive Brokers, and they have their own news that they generate, and it's quite tailored. It's tailored to your portfolio, which means the companies, the markets that you, or the sectors that you've directly invested in. And then there's another section that has news on your watch list. So watch list for me are the organizations that I'm watching, I've not invested in, but I'm watching them to see how they're growing, if they're going down, like, to just monitor their stability so that I can consider them for the future. They're mostly prospects, because I notice online there's a lot of influencers who really don't go the long way or don't go the extra mile to give us information that we can rely on. They just jump on trends. They listen to another influencer and replicate the video. So while that could be beneficial, I don't want to invest in celebrity organizations. I take it for what it is, a suggestion, and then I put it on my watch list. I observe it for some time, and if I'm happy with it, then I can invest slowly. Maybe put in $10, 20, 50, etc., depending on depending on what's available. Then ethical and sustainable practices, because as we said, the environment keeps changing, so does the social and governance factors when it comes to investment and finances and businesses. So it becomes important to read on the news based on practices. For example, in Kenya now, the rental income tax has gone down by, I don't know, I think maybe 10% or something. So does this make it more lucrative for people who'd want to invest in rental income? I mean, rental property. And what does that mean for you? So these little things, right? Then we also talked about regular monitoring and review of your portfolio, because as your level shifts, as you shift as a person, your priorities, let's say maybe you get a partner and now you have an additional income or you have more to spend on. How do you adjust to the times, right? How do you adjust to your own personal situation? So these are some of the foundations that we talked about regarding, setting up a strong business and financial portfolio. Setting clear goals, budgeting and financial planning, diversification, risk management, debt management, continuous learning, and adaptation, long-term perspective, professional advice, ethical and sustainable practices, regular monitoring and reviews. And these are some of the conversations that we'll be having through this quarter when it comes to business and finances. Our intention is to invite guests and hosts, exciting people who can share with us their journey through managing their finances, so that we can get more, acquainted with what it actually looks like to be moneyed up, moneyed up, or or just a young person in Africa who's standing on business, standing on their financial and investment business.
Don't you just love stories? Stories shape how we understand the world, our place in it, and our ability to change it. We are all products of our backgrounds, perceptions, and experiences, which form how we interpret the world. So we all have unique stories to share. You too can inspire the world with your story. The Storybook Africa accepts stories under 3 categories all year round: Young and on Fire, Note to Younger Self, and Dear Diary. You can also join us to transform the lives of youth in Africa by 1. Participating in youth empowerment projects we run, through which we partner with businesses owned by young Africans to host events, run campaigns, or award grants for business expansion. 2. Submitting or buying a digital product from our e-shop, which is a hub of amazing items that can support the community's healing, growth, and development journey crafted by young Africans. Excited to partner with us? Visit our website today for more information: www.thestorybook.whitneymwangi.com.
So why does this matter to us at the Storybook, and why should it matter to you? For those who've been following us for quite some time, our vision at SBA, that's the Storybook Africa, is to empower youth through their healing, growth, and development journey. And obviously, this includes financial health, because for a very long time, I used to think, just money is just money. But now I realize money makes things move. Money is a very powerful source of, it's like a lubricant that it gets things done. It gets life moving. It changes, you change your quality of life, and you're less stressed. But because when you need medical care, you can get it. When you need to go have a good time, it just gives you freedom. And I personally, I don't know about you, but I value freedom. And then, I was preparing a proposal just the other week, and I was looking at a couple of statistics, not related to business, related to something else, but I came across some really interesting statistics that would be quite relevant for the conversation we are having today. So, according to the UN Convention to Combat Desertification, a quarter of the global population, that's 1.8 billion people, are between the age of 15 and 35. As you know, this is the age that we focus on here at the Storybook, and we term it as young adults, young people. So now we are currently hosting the largest generation of youth the world has ever seen. And according to also reports by the African Union and others on Africa, Africa has the youngest population in the world, right? So it means that even while we have the largest population of youth in the globe, Africa bears the backbone of the youth population. As you know, this is very interesting. It gives a unique potential for creativity, energy, vibrancy, and transformative economic and social development led by Africa, with Africa at the center. And yet, the population of youth in Africa is expected to double, right? Because the number now is about 400 million. But then it's expected to double to about, or even more than 830 million by 2050. So yes, sure, it looks like it's a lot more years, but if we don't learn to leverage what we have now, it may pose a challenge in the future, because these statistics also show that in Asia and Europe, the youth population is actually dropping by at least 21 to 28% each year. So as the time goes, as our population grows, our power as youth in Africa continues to increase, not just for the continent, but beyond. But what are we going to do with this power? Now, the sad part is, according to another report by the International Labour Organization, over 72 million, that's about 1 in 4 young people in Africa, are neither in employment, education, or training. Then two-thirds of these who are not in of the number are actually women. So you see, we have a situation here, and with the rising numbers of youth and population affected by unemployment or oh, excuse me, unemployment or not being in in work or training, it compromises our ability to leverage the workforce and creativity of youth, so that we are able to implement interventions that actually foster, yes, healing, growth, and development, but also the socio-economic development of the continent and beyond, right? When we say the government is on our shoulder, you know, it's the truth. So, what are you going to do about that? So, I'm excited about this conversation. And how can you participate? One, you can nominate a speaker. If you have maybe a financial advisor, business advisor, or a friend who you think is doing really well when it comes to getting their money right or setting themselves up well for business and finance, please nominate them. You can send an email to info@thestorybook.whitneymwangi.com or DM us across our pages, and then we'll be sure to consider them. Or you can submit a personal story. So when you go to our website, you will see the editorial guidelines of how to submit a story, and usually it's a paid opportunity. So for every 800 words, you get $10, and you can submit as many as you want. There are categories for that, so you can look at the definitions of the categories and see what actually works for you. But there is Dear Diary, which is more personal. This is usually my favorite. It's more personal. It's like making an entry in your journal, but you're now putting it out to the world, which is okay. Sharing is caring, eh? You're growing together. And then there is Young and on Fire. So this is more of a motivational story that it can either be written by a person about another person or about you, something, an achievement that you're proud of. So it's very achievement based. And then there's another one, Note to Younger Self. This is usually a category meant for people who are older than 35, and they're writing to either a younger version of them or to the younger generation. And you can pick either of these categories, whatever works for you, and submit a story, but under the theme what really matters and business and career. And then submit a product to the shop. So we have an e-shop where we upload items that can be used to support the healing, growth, and development journey of young people. You can go on there and see what products that we have, and consider, it could be an e-journal, it could be a t-shirt, a design, just it could be music, a poem, whatever, as long as it supports healing, growth, and development. And for this one, you can think about ways of maybe supporting business and career, right? So you get to go to the website, you sign up yourself, you upload your item, and then the sales, you set up your bank account details and all that, and then we review the item from the back end, and you just upload, right? So when someone buys your item, we get to retain 10% of that, and then you get the rest of the item. So knowing this should help you price the product. And that's that, because we have a podcast, a blog, the e-shop, and we do have a couple of campaigns going on. But the campaign we're focusing on right now is hashtag what really matters. And that's that, guys. I'm very excited to hear from you. Let's see who will host this coming quarter. And I think it's going to be an amazing conversation. Are there particular topics that you'd want to hear from us? Please do let me know, so that we are taking care of your needs and we are also having a good time. I am personally looking forward to learning from you and just hearing what you have going on, because I do believe that there's a lot happening in Africa. There's just phenomenal humans on this continent or even outside who can really bring value to us and expand on our knowledge. Yeah, but that's that from me. It's been very lovely coming on here. I hope that Q2 will be an inspiration to you, as I'm anticipating it will be for us. And I hope that our good Lord takes care of you wherever you are and provides you and shines his light upon you. And then, yeah, let's meet each other next week, same time, same place. Love you loads. Take care, Storybook family. Ciao.
So that's our story. What's yours? Be sure to connect with us on social media at The Storybook Africa on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, or at The Storybook_AF on Instagram and X. Subscribe to the Storybook Africa podcast today on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Until we meet again, keep writing your own story, and may it be a testament to your limitless potential. Hakuna Matata for now, and remember, your story matters.